right, welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan You Know podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy and Hot Rod, fresh off from his $1 million win in Las Vegas. How are you, Rod?
That's right. I am just like Happy Corbin, except that I am not. Because I'll tell you, to be honest, I really did not even attempt my hand at any tables. Happy Corbin will be disappointed in me, Jim. I am not a huge gambler, other than I laid down 3 future NBA bets, but this is not the platform to talk about those. But if you're a Morgan You Know podcast truther and you listen to all of our shows, it will come up very soon.
And you can reach us at Yeah We Know Pod, Yeah We Know Pod on Twitter, Yeah We Know Pod at gmail.com. We have a ton of emails to get to later today, so look for that coming up. But we are going to be
shout out to you guys for sending in emails. Love that.
Love interaction with, and we actually got some really good emails too, so we're excited about that. It's going to be a WWE-centric show because, well, a lot of WWE stuff has gone on this week, including, Rod, this is your first experience with the WWE draft. Did you have your draft sheets out? Did you do your mock drafts? Were you so excited for the draft and everything they told you about it before it started?
Actually, I have a quick little yarn that I will spin here that will let you know exactly how excited about the draft I was, okay? I was on Fremont Street in Las Vegas during the time of the draft, all right? With my DirecTV Stream app. Shout out to those guys if they want to sponsor the podcast. Anybody there is listening. I'm sitting in a fancy steakhouse. Bingo. I'm sitting in a fancy steakhouse called Oscars, okay? Sitting around a 6-person table in the middle. We're all dressed up in our Sunday best, so to speak, right? Courses are coming out. I can't take it anymore. I have to know who the first person drafted is, even though I have a pretty good idea in my mind who the number 1 draft pick is going to be, but I still wanted to see who it was and what they did to start out the draft. So I'm sitting at the steakhouse watching it on my phone. 10 minutes later, a guy comes out with some water and he goes, "Hey, are you the guy watching SmackDown?" And then he proceeds to start asking me a couple of questions.
On brand as always. I love it. You are the man, Rod. There you go. I like that a lot.
And so then I wake up early Saturday morning before we're getting ready to go out and do all of our plans that we have for Saturday and finish watching the rest of the draft there in Vegas. That's how excited I was.
That is dedication. So the draft for the WWE, as our listeners who have been watching for a while know, is extremely unpredictable, mostly because they never really tell you everything that they're going to do for the draft. Sometimes it's been a random pick on screen. Sometimes they've had different general managers come out. The last year, I believe they had the different nights like they did this year, but they actually told you who was available each night. This year they didn't. But the first 2 picks were obviously your champions, which I do love that they did that because sometimes they don't necessarily do that. With Roman Reigns being the SmackDown pick and Big E being the Raw pick, do you think that those are the picks that needed to be made first off?
Well, absolutely. I think let's look at it from this aspect, right? You're trying to come up with content. You're trying to come up with things that allow fans to be interactive, allow fans like us who are doing podcasts to have something to chop up, right? So why would you not try to make a power rankings type idea, right? And this is exactly what this is. This is a schoolyard pick'em. Think of it that way. And then they brought people up reading off of cards. They gave you like their height and weight breakdown, right? There was kind of like the Mel Kiper video for it. I thought it was absolutely great. Sports this thing up. And if you're doing a fantasy draft in wrestling right now, I'm taking Roman Reigns first, aren't you?
I think it's a no-brainer that you would take Roman Reigns first. In pure WWE style, though, they kind of forgot to tell us at the beginning 2 major things. Number 1, that not everyone was eligible to be drafted tonight. I think they said that in the 2nd or 3rd round. And 2, that these don't take effect until after Crown Jewel at the end of October.
That was so bogus.
Why would you do that?
I couldn't figure that out either. I couldn't figure that out for the life of me. Because I had you in the back of my mind saying, all right, Rod, you got to figure out what's the worst thing they could come up with. And I was like, yep, this is basically it.
Because here's the thing. After Crown Jewel, which is at the end of October, you have like 3 weeks of this new brand. And then they go to Survivor Series and wrestle each other again anyway. So you're really not dedicated to your brand yet. You haven't made that... this guy's on Raw now, this guy's on SmackDown, this girl's on Raw. It's kind of a WWE thing to do.
It really doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't make any sense to me because, we know that millions upon millions are going to be tuning in at 1 p.m. in the afternoon on a Thursday for Crown Jewel. So, we're just going to be so hyped for WWE news at that point, right?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a. We'll talk about Crown Jewel here in a few minutes, but I think that'll be a very newsworthy pay-per-view, if you will, even though it's in the middle of a Thursday afternoon. I gotta get your, I've got to get your take on Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce on this draft and how they did. To me, Rod, it didn't seem like either of them knew who was going to get picked, especially when Liv Morgan got announced. You could tell Sonya, this wasn't my pick. It's like, well, but she
did that for Naomi.
Two.
She did that for Naomi.
Or Naomi, she did that. You're right.
I
was sorry. I was looking at the list and I saw Liv. Yeah, she did that for Naomi. So, what did you think about that? And who are these random executives that are making draft picks too?
See, now here's what I thought, and again, this is me. I get too far ahead of myself and I get all excited. Right? I was like, "Ooh, wouldn't it be cool if this was the first nugget they dropped on a officials start creeping in a little bit, right? We start seeing officials made this match, official this, official that, right? And then we have a bit of like when McMahon revealed himself, right? As the dark power, it was me the whole time, right? I'm not saying it's going to be Vince McMahon at this point, but it'd be cool. It'd be cool if they gave us something that these officials were, right? Like at some point they reveal to us, this is actually who's been behind the scenes calling the shots, and Adam and Sonya are clearly just our mouthpieces.
So Brother Love comes out and said it was me all along. I love you.
Whoever.
Basically.
I mean, your mileage can vary on who you bring out, right? But I just think it sets up for that. Now, clearly they're not going to do that because you and I talk about they cannot tell a long-term story whatsoever. But since that's not what's going to happen, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous for you to have the two people who come out that make matches for us and you nominally put up on a television show as the officials and the ones in charge, okay? And then to have them read from a card where they're completely surprised what's happening, and it's just a whole lot of like when you go into a retail shop and you're told, well, I'm sorry, I'm not the one that made this rule. It came down from corporate above. You know what I mean? Like that's just so garbage.
There is an amazing WWE draft show in there somewhere. They just can't do it right. They could never do it right. They think it's boring, but if you look at the NFL draft, how many millions of people watch that, and all that is picks for, and half the people you don't even know. It's just all about the presentation.
Only doing four broke it up too much. You're right. Only doing four and then like going back to normal business, just like it didn't make it seem cool enough.
And they have the video packages for everybody drafted. They could have a countdown. They could have mock draft. They could have someone come on and do a mock draft, on the shows before the weeks leading up to it. It could be kind of fun.
Absolutely. You could have like a multi-week lead up where you have podcasters, right? Random podcasters out there that talk about wrestling. Have them come on. There you go. They can churn out content for you.
Maybe someone with the Morgan Podcasting Network will come on. We'll do some things for you. We'll work with you. That's fine. At yoweknowpod@gmail.com. Okay, so something I think that we can finally agree on, because we've disagreed on this for a while. Baron Corbin and Madcap Moss have again jumped. I don't even think you can say jump the shark right now. This laughing thing is ridiculously stupid. Please tell me we're on the same page that you hate this Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin gimmick. Please tell me that.
Listen, first off, I'm a sucker for a man in suspenders anytime. I'm a sucker for a man in suspenders anytime. Also, dig the hat. What do they call that? Like a bowler hat? I'm into that. Madcap Moss is clearly trying to siphon off of that Rick Boogs energy, where you just show up as a random, side piece, manager, whatever, hype man, and then next thing you know, you're a badass wrestler. So clearly we're going to see something out of this guy, and who better than to align with a rocket ship like Happy Corbin, who was on his way out of his house, repossessed car, not going to be anything in the WWE, and now look at him, Jimmy. So Madcap Moss is clearly a smart man, and I think we should look out for what he's going to bring us in the future. And how dare you already look down upon his career before it even starts?
I can't believe I'm actually kind of shocked that you like this. Madcap Moss, you said, is trying to be Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs is also on SmackDown.
Hey, that's fine. Then we're going to have a battle between them. There's your heat right there. I'm the better hype man. No, I'm the better hype man. There's heat right there, Jimmy. I just wrote a script. That's at least a match. 2 weeks.
How dare you sully the name of, what's Nakamura's guy that comes out with the guitar? What's his name again?
You mean Rick Boogs?
Yeah, I kind of forgot that gimmick before. How dare you sully his name? He is fantastic. Dude, comparing him to Madcap Moss.
He's like
Something
got babyface heat. I mean, honestly, he's like one of the biggest baby faces the WWE's created recently, other than Bianca Belair.
Speaking of Bianca Belair, she goes over to the Raw side. And I think some of the reason is because they brought B-Fab or Fab B or whomever they are. They brought a few people up from NXT, and B-Fab was not someone I thought they were going to bring up. And I know you're not as familiar. I've only watched a little bit of.
You're generous with as familiar. You can just go, I'm not familiar. Period.
Good on the mic, atrocious in the ring. Needs to be in NXT. Does not need to be on the main roster. Not very good, I don't think, on that one. I think that was that's a way too early bringing them up. Someone that you called. Speaking of being brought up way too early, the Olympian Gable Steveson is on Raw and was drafted. That's skyrocketing to the top.
But you want to talk about making it like Sports Center? I'm sorry, I went a little early there. I'm hot. Hot Rod's back because I got that prediction right. Don't worry about all the other ones that I got wrong. Focus in on the fact that I told you Gable Steveson would be drafted, and it was mega cool that they did the flash to him in the living room with his parents. That made it feel even more like a real draft. They probably got some run on some websites with that. That picture itself was probably on there, which I said they absolutely wanted to do. And the guy's big enough, all right? The guy's big enough. We saw Omos make his presence known for weeks before he actually got in the ring, and then he got in the ring a couple of times and didn't do much, and now he's getting to the point where I almost want to see Omos in a match. So let's not doubt an Olympic Hall of Famer, Jim, all right?
Well, you saw almost on a match on Raw this week because Randy Orton challenged him to a match and he came out to wrestle, right?
No, because he doesn't have to.
That didn't happen.
That
didn't happen.
He doesn't have to, and neither does Gable Steveson. Not right away. They only have 3-minute matches anyway, Jimmy. You talk about this all the time. Come on, let's talk about story. Let's talk about story. We can write a story. You say all the time we don't have any baby faces, right? And sure, the crowd doesn't buy the Olympic guy, but it's an easy way to bring in a baby face. And then as long as you can tell a cool story with it, that's a baby face entrance. And it's tough to get one of those.
So you're talking about story. So we did have a little bit, just a little bit of long-term storytelling on Raw with the return to Raw of Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode coming out. And kind of as soon as they came out, when McIntyre and Big E were talking, you're like, what? And then you're like, oh, yeah. So kind of a cool little flashback. Big E started with Dolph Ziggler when Dolph Ziggler was the champ, and AJ Lee was with him. And then when McIntyre came back, he was with Dolph Ziggler to start with. So I thought that was a kind of a cool little throwback. Now, it may be a one and done. I think they might get another week out of it, but kind of a cool throwback, don't you think?
I liked it an awful lot because, I mean, as we talk about often, I had a bit of a dark period there where I wasn't following wrestlers, so I basically missed all of Dolph Ziggler. So seeing that, those little flashback packages were pretty cool for me, and it just brings back that, man, I got to remember some of these guys have been grinding at it for a few years, and even though they seem like they don't matter now, doesn't mean they haven't been around for a while.
All right, I've got a few different places to go here. All right, let's go here. I like what they did with Doudrop and Shayna Baszler. I like Shayna Baszler being a little more of a badass. I think they've put her a little too much on the badass because you kind of know what she's going to do, especially when you see Dana Brooke coming out. But I kind of like the Doudrop thing because Doudrop needs to be a badass instead of a laughingstock. Don't you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
I think that it's fine what they're doing with Shayna Baszler. Actually, I really do. I mean, why not go for a female version of Seth Rollins in a sense? You know what I mean? Just without the charisma.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, just without the charisma, right? So I like that, and you're absolutely right. I don't want to agree with you all the time, but you're absolutely right on Doudrop. She can wrestle, all right? She's clearly an imposing force. People don't buy Nia Jax, so give me somebody else who's clearly an imposing force in the women's division. And it's okay if she wants to dance around and be happy, but this at least establishes that she might be that, but you also don't want to mess with her, and this is a good way to get that across.
It's a weird thing, too. They basically broke up every women's tag team except the champions. So I thought that was interesting to see where they're going to go with the tag team champions for the women's, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be your Shotzi and Knox, maybe, right? I mean, we're going to see some NXT call-ups there.
Broke them up. broke them up.
Wow. All right. Well, I mean, we're clearly, I mean, we're not going to only have one women's tag team. I mean, that's just not going to happen. And clearly, we're not anywhere close to my hot prediction of let's make a second women's tag team champion.
Oh, no. That would, listen, you would be on fire, Rod, if that happened. Although Hot Rod kind of sounds a little bit better there. We also confirmed, there were some rumors, but we have the King of the Ring and also the Queen's Crown going, 2 tournaments going at the same time. All right, here's the deal. I usually go to you first, but I'm going to kind of start off on this one.
Good.
I hate it that they're going on at the same time. It's ridiculous because it gets too confusing. There's a couple of different low spots that you can go to right after WrestleMania and at the start of the NFL season. Those are the times to do these types of tournaments, okay? And make them an actual cool tournament. Like in New Japan, New Japan has their annual tournament that's amazing and has some great matches. It's a round-robin tournament. But having them at the same time doesn't really work. I don't know. We're not going to do any predictions right now who's going to win because we don't even know who's in it. But do you think that having them at the same time kind of defeats the purpose on both of them?
I'm not so sure about that, right? I'm not so sure about that. I think you're just trying to figure out a way to give somebody who you have some hope in, some potential in, some equity built up, a different storyline, right? An easy, cheap, quick gimmick that you can play with them. I think that's really all you're looking for here. And when you do it is almost irrelevant to me because it's not like you're only going to get a week or 2 out of the king or queen. You know what I mean? You're going to milk that for a while. So I think
King
when
Corbin
you do it,
was
it's
milked
irrelevant
forever.
to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that was
forever.
Exactly, you know, and hell, Jerry the King Lawler's lived off it his whole entire life. But then there's other kings that we forget, right? Like, wasn't Jim Duggan king for a while?
Oh yeah, king. Yep. There's definitely a lot of kings out there. One of these days, let's go slow, but we need to talk about the New Japan G1 tournament, like I was talking about before, because those are some. Like 3 weeks long, the point system, a lot of things go into that. But something WWE could do, but again, if you're changing the script every single week, it's hard to do tournaments like that and stay in there. All right, there are 2 very over-the-top storylines, but let's talk about the Queen, your girl, against Bianca Belair. That's something else you wanted to talk about from Raw.
Well, I mean, I love me some Charlotte Flair. I'm kind of sad that she's going to be leaving 3 hours of Raw, but I'm way excited about Seth Rollins coming back, Monday Night Rollins. I'm excited about that, so I guess I'll get over it. But I loved seeing the EST and Charlotte Flair together in the ring. I mean, those are 2. Bianca just gets better and better at being able to wrestle and pull off moves, and her power and athleticism is just, I mean, Charlotte Flair usually runs circles around people, and she cannot run circles around the EST when it comes to all of that. So she's going to really need to flare it up in their feud, and it's going to be great.
You can see that is a WrestleMania main event in the future, and heck, it may even be in the near future. I know they're on separate brands, but anything can happen. In the WWE because things change all of the time.
Well, Bianca's clearly not getting the belt back anytime soon, right? So, I mean, she could easily win Money in the Bank sometime next year, and then that entitles her to go anywhere.
Exactly. When the Money in the Bank go back-to-back Royal Rumble, and anything can happen with that. All right, so let's talk about the one you love first.
Oh, let's do it, Jimmy. I'm gonna get my smoking jacket on right now. I'm gonna get my shoeless loafers on. I mean, I am just ready to bask in the glow that is Seth Rollins.
So Edge is in the middle of the ring, doing a promo. Okay, great, you're on Raw. That's awesome. Seth Rollins comes on the screen, and he's outside Edge's house in Canada. Which
you knew right away, right? I mean, they milked it for 2 minutes.
You knew that was his house.
Right away. Yeah, I said, because the Mrs. Morgan, was watching it with me, and I turned to her and I said, Seth is out in front of Edge's house. And she goes, what?
So, there's so many things here, dude. Number one, Edge runs to the back like he's going to run to Canada. Right. Weren't they in like Cincinnati or something like that?
Yeah.
And number 2 is no one's at the house, which is, they're out grocery shopping because one does that. They just leave the front door open. Just anyone can walk in their house, and I'm not
deep
in
the backwoods of Saskatchewan.
The eating the apple was kind of funny, but otherwise,
absolutely,
this went
all
on,
of it was
this
great.
Went on very long.
That's classic WWE, though. You talk
a little
about that
over
all the time. Over the top and matches are too long. We talk about that all the time with WWE. So you had to absolutely understand that this is what you were getting. But I mean, come on, we've already had 2 huge, wonderful matches between Seth and Edge, and I'm still ready for the next one. And the way that you make that happen is through something like this. I mean, it's stupid and ridiculous. I mean, Edge should be arrested right now for breaking, not Edge, Seth Rollins should be arrested right now for breaking and entering. Goldberg should be arrested right now for threatening to kill somebody. We'll get there soon. But I mean, it's completely ridiculous. But Seth prancing through the house and looking at the artwork and opening up the fridge and kicking his feet up. I mean, come on, it was fabulous. I loved every minute of it. I was leaning forward in my seat, grinning from ear to ear. I love Seth Rollins.
I am so glad you do, and he and Becky are heading to Raw right now, so we get to see Seth on Monday night. Something else that we saw on Monday night. So Goldberg has threatened to literally kill Bobby Lashley. Like, I'm going to kill you is what he said. Your heart is going to stop beating. You're going to stop breathing. You're going to die. I'm going to kill you. And where are they having this match? They're having the match in Saudi Arabia, which it could happen.
Yeah, no extradition, my friend. Goldberg, get ready for your new life with the Shaws.
What is going on? Why?
I mean, here's what we need to ask ourselves. Did Bobby Lashley do something to Vince and we don't know it? That's the question we need to ask ourselves right now.
Because Goldberg has to win this match. I mean, there's no way he doesn't.
Which is going to be so sad because your boy Bob Lashley, where's he going to be at that point? I mean, when he gets destroyed by Goldberg at that Crown Jewel and he doesn't really have another great storyline and they just sort of brought the Hurt Business back even though he hasn't said anything about it. I mean, what's up with your boy Bob Lashley if he gets hammered by Goldberg?
And he's staying on Raw, which I really thought he needed a change of scenery.
That's the one we should have mentioned this at the top, but that's the one that surprised me the most, frankly, is that Bob Lashley didn't move.
Yeah, that was a big one. So that is our Raw talk for Raw and SmackDown WWE. Lots of stuff going on. Let's get to some emails, shall we, Rod?
Let's do that. I love that emails are coming in. You guys can get at us on Twitter. We will always try to respond because, you know, if we don't have people that are listening to us, what are we doing this for?
So let's hit a couple AEW. We've got a couple more we'll get next week as well. But I thought this was a pretty cool question. This is Chris from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Rate CM Punk's return. Is this guy overrated? He's known as the GOAT, and he's known as one of the GOATs in professional wrestling history. But I can't help but feel like everything post first entrance has been sort of lackluster. So, Rod, Jimmy, you're all AEW all the time. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we know what you're going to say, so let me start. Chris in Bowling Green, first off, thanks for listening, my man, and I'm absolutely with you. Everyone has told me that CM Punk is like just this light of wrestling glow, like he's sainted already. Like this guy's basically Yoda just floating out there in the ring, and like, I don't know, man. I don't see it. I need to see a little bit more out of this guy. I just sure he can wrestle, but you know who else can wrestle? John Morrison, all right? So, I mean, you need to show me a little bit more. I understand that he's got the aura, and clearly with the crowd pops that this guy gets, that already makes you have to pay attention to him, but I don't know, man. 7 years off might actually mean something, Jim.
So, this is a great question. I've thought about it for a little while here. He's right. The first entrance was fantastic, but you can only have so many guys coming in at once to go straight to the top. And CM Punk has taken that step back to do some secondary feuds, to have Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega have that feud. Now it's interesting that they have Christian in that foursome with Bryan Danielson and Jurassic Express, where CM Punk might have gone in there. But again, Bryan Danielson is the focus. So I think they're just focusing on something else right now. CM Punk's getting his legs back together, back with him, his ring work back in, wrestling, a few different people at the same, at different matches there. I think it's okay. It has not been the greatest thing ever, though, and I think it's meant not to be the greatest thing ever. Let's let CM Punk work his way back for a few months, 6 months maybe, and
wait
then
a minute.
Picture.
I got to push back against that a little bit. It's not meant to be the greatest thing ever. Are you meaning to tell me AEW did not hype this thing beyond belief and try to make it seem like, oh my God, the world just opened up and here's CM Punk? What are you talking about, Jim?
The storyline he's in right now is not meant to be the greatest thing ever. Correct. Yeah.
All right.
They had to make a choice. Who's gonna get the first push? It's Bryan Danielson.
which I believe I sort of talked about when we were talking about just this mass exodus of people to AEW. I was like, Jimmy, they can't have enough camera time for everybody. And here we are. And CM Punk's the one who's on the ass end of it.
Exactly. From Pibman in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Who in the hell can beat Kenny Omega? Is anyone actually able to carry the AEW brand right now that he hasn't already beaten?
I love Kenny Omega. I say no one should beat him.
I don't think anyone should beat him for a while. I think Hangman Page is the one who should beat him, but not until 2022 at some point, maybe mid-2022. Let Kenny Omega go through as many people as possible. But I thought another good question here is anyone actually able to carry AEW brand right now that he hasn't already beaten?
Well, certainly Bryan Danielson. I
guess they did. He didn't beat him. He didn't beat him. They tied. So Bryan Danielson for sure. Darby Allin is someone who's very interesting. I don't know. Do you see Darby Allin as someone carrying the brand?
We have been podcast partners for too long and friends for too long now, Jimmy, because that was literally the question I was going to ask you. Has Darby Allin fought him before? Because that was somebody that was coming to my mind.
I don't know. I'm sure they haven't done a huge program. I'm sure they have at some point. But
and what about Jungle Boy? I mean, could Jungle Boy, or is he just more of a novelty actor? Could he be somebody who you start searching him up a little bit more, and with all the stuff he can do, could he be somebody who carries it?
Talk to me in 5 years. When we do the 700th episode of the Yeah We Know Pod.
From your lips to God's ears, my friend. I'm having a great time. I'd love to keep doing it that long.
We may be talking about Jungle Boy in a different light here in a while, but he's still young. There's a lot of different people. Adam Cole. I mean, everyone loves Adam Cole. And that's going to be a huge feud again because obviously they'll break up eventually. But again, that could be 3-4 years from now because give AEW a little credit here and there. They do have some longer term storylines.
What about Malachi Black, real quick? While we're on this, real quick, Malachi Black. What about him?
Carrying the brand, I love how But
the Taker, right? Like in a Taker kind of way.
Yeah, maybe.
Because, that's one of the things that I think helped the WWE and helped to elevate it, right, was just having that stone cold solid guy like the Taker that you could just go to all the time, right? And with this gimmick they're setting up, in my opinion, right, I'm not trying to be blasphemous here and say that Malachi Black is Mark Calloway, right? Like, I'm not doing that here, but I'm just saying he's got the kind of vibe like the Undertaker does where he's just an absolute destroyer and he just has feuds with people because he just gets mad at them, you know what I mean? And it works.
And then we'll hit one more now, and then we'll hit the rest of next week's episode. If you email us, we will 100% read it on air just because, we really appreciate you taking the time to read that. So we're going to go back to WWE here. Speaking about carrying the company, this is from Ben in Marquette, Michigan. Do you really think Big E can carry the WWE flag? In my opinion, he's not nearly on the same level as Kenny Omega or even Roman Reigns. Not even close, Mr.
Wow.
Morgan. I know. Hot take.
Heat
Ben off
Big
the top rope.
All right, Jim, let me start here with this question, Jim. Let's try to do this one interestingly this way. Do you think the wrestling fan of today will be into Hulk Hogan type matches?
It depends on if the Hulk Hogan is as charismatic and cared for as Hulk Hogan was at the time. So they can be for sure. Like the Hogan, the Goldberg type of matches, yes, they can be.
All right, okay. So if that's possible, then I say yes, but with the razor thin margin, right? Because it speaks to what you said. Big E's good on the mic, right? But he's not great. You know what I mean? And he's funny, but he's not overly biting. You know what I mean? And he can seem menacing because he's big. You know what I mean? But he doesn't have rock level put downs or stone cold level intensity. You know what I mean? So he's kind of missing a few of those things. But his in ring work, you know what you're getting. You're going to get those 2 suplexes, then you're going to get the belly to belly, then you're going to get the off the ropes into the big splash, right? But other than that, Big E's basically getting worked, much the way Hogan was always getting worked in his matches before he just turned it around at the end and hit the leg drop.
So do you think they should book Big E as more of a Goldberg type champion where he just destroys people for a while, or a Bobby Lashley type champion for that matter?
Yes, I don't know that I love Big E getting worked, right? Which is basically where he's been in a lot of his matches. Now I get that they were trying to still keep Bob, like still give him, a little bit of respect and still try to keep him, propped up there. But, and then you also got to legitimize the Money in the Bank steal. You know what I mean? Like that's another thing that they always try to do. You don't want to make Big E seem like Nikki ASH. You know what I mean? So I get that, but I don't know. I don't know if Big E's the kind of guy that I would buy him actually doing Goldberg matches. So I think that's what I mean. I think he can, but it's a razor thin margin.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I kind of like how Big E is still being himself, though. One thing that you notice when we have new champions come out for the first time, they usually come out in a suit. And Big E hasn't really done that. He's kind of himself. He still dances around. He's still part of the New Day. Still has the same shtick. I like that he's being himself during this time, though. I think that's a different way than I thought they were going to go with him. So I think that's good.
But does that make you worry, though, that his time is going to be short if they haven't given him that new champion sheen?
Yeah, I definitely worry. It makes me concerned that his time's going to be short. It depends.
No, I know he didn't ask us this, but who do you think then, if you think his time might be short, what would your best prediction be of when it goes down into who?
I would say a Seth Rollins would be someone who I think they really want. How much of a jerk would Seth Rollins be with the title? And is that something that can be thrown into the Seth Rollins edge? I mean, it doesn't really need that. But it could be in there. I think Kevin Owens would be a fantastic champion to beat.
Oh my
Big
goodness,
E on
we
Raw.
gotta talk KO before we leave. That'll be our parting shot.
So
So you don't think McIntyre's beating him? I guess is sort of what I was driving at. You don't think we're putting the belt back on Drew?
Because why would you? I mean,
I guess
Drew
he is going to
McIntyre's a
SmackDown.
face. Yeah. And he is going over to SmackDown. So I don't think he's going to beat Big E with that. I think that's just a one and done type thing.
All right. Well, but you had me worried there that maybe we're going to see Big E stripped of the title here before the end of the year.
Okay, we'll do a couple of preview questions, so kind of get our listeners thinking. A couple of great Sting questions. Why is Sting so cool? What do you think about the Sting and Darby Allin match? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Forbidden Door. Is it helping or hurting AEW? We'll even tell you what the Forbidden Door is. And then there's a lot of us talking about how it's great that AEW is new and we love wrestling, but WWE is that warm blanket still. So we've got some questions coming up on next week's show. We were a little later this week because you were in Vegas and we wanted to make sure we got all the draft taken care of. Rod, let's talk about Kevin Owens. I'm going to go cry in the corner just for a few minutes here while you talk about that.
Well, I loved that we saw KO in the draft, right? I love that he was featured because certainly there were some guys who weren't even shown getting picked by Sonya or Adam, right? So I thought that was good, right? I thought that it was good that his buddy Sammy got drafted as well and was shown on TV, and that they're now back on the same show. I thought that was pretty good. But when he comes to the ring and then they allow him to say nothing, okay, he gets interrupted by Akira Tozawa, and then gives him the stunner and then just walks out. I was like, oh my God, Kevin Owens is leaving, because what is this kind of storyline for a guy with Kevin Owens heat? Because that crowd went nuts for him just when he walked out.
They think he's going. And it's sad because I think they're going to just bury him. And Kevin Owens is great. And you might be shocked at this. I don't want him to go to AEW right now. I like Kevin Owens. I like the character in Raw and WWE, and I just think that they are missing the boat with him a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has he been champion before?
He was champion. Triple H turned on Rollins and had Kevin Owens pin Rollins for the championship. And then he lost to Goldberg at the Royal Rumble in about 9 seconds because F Goldberg.
Ah, okay. So when Goldberg had his recent run, because I heard about that one through mainstream media when I was not watching, it was KO that he beat, huh?
Yeah. So
see, that bums me out too, because I just think, like, we talk about it all the time. We have such trouble making baby faces in WWE, and right now, again, I'm not being blasphemous here, but Kevin Owens is sort of the closest thing you got to Stone Cold. Not just because he does the stunner, but because he's just a dude who comes out in a t-shirt and is an ass kicker, basically, right? Just take away the beer from Stone Cold and the Texas twang and make him a Canadian. You got Kevin Owens.
Take him from Texas and make him Canadian. That's really funny. But yeah, you're right. And people love him. And why? Because he's different and he does great promos and he's a great wrestler too.
Yeah.
But again,
I mean, the senton that he does is incredible, man.
Yeah, he's fantastic in every way. So
I get so sad now, though. You're absolutely right. I think they're almost gonna lean into that, or like they just know that all of us fans are sad, and it's just, I don't love what we're gonna see out of Kevin Owens.
all right, before we go, quick announcement too. AJ Mendez, CM Punk's wife, the former AJ Lee in WWE, is, I believe, an executive. She's involved with Women of Wrestling's relaunch. So there's going to be a Women of Wrestling promotion that focuses on women in wrestling. So she's going to help promote them moving forward. So that's kind of cool moving forward. She's back in. And Tessa Blanchard is going to be the face of the promotion. Someone you may not know, Rod. We could have a whole show on Tessa Blanchard. But anything you'd like to promote for the Morgan You Know before we're out of here?
We got Mr. Williams' picks coming up, of course. And Jimmy, thank you very much for filling in admirably for me on that show last week. I was right on my underdog pick there, so it continues my hot rod streak. I got 2 weeks in a row I've given you the underdog. So, I mean, you can make the real money and the real bets with Mr. Williams, but then if you're feeling real frisky, 2 weeks in a row I've made the underdog call. You can get that one on Balls and Brew.
It must be a host thing because I got my underdog right. I picked the Jets to win, and they won. How about that, man?
That's true. I mean, that's like we used to play double deck euchre all the time back in the day, Jim, when we were in the dormitories there in Muncie, and then shot in the dark. That was basically a shot in the dark you just did right there.
Oh, double deck euchre is so much fun. You've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast. You're part of the Morgan You Know podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy and Hot Rod.
That's right, Gable Steveson, okay? I told you Gable Steveson was getting drafted. He got drafted. We don't need to pay attention to all the other stuff that I got wrong. Hot Rod is here and ready for you. I love that we got the emails. Keep bringing them to me, even if you want to challenge me. No problem there. Thanks for listening.
Oh, Ciampa.